Daddy's got a gun. He's gonna hurt someone, trying to overcome in fear and loathing. He got fall down drunk, trying to fill his cup. More goes down than up in fear and loathing. 'Cause no one gets a break in this town. They're closing all the local joints down. There's nothing left for us here now, in fear and loathing. Mama got knocked up, 17 years young. She said she fell in love in fear and loathing. 'Cause no one gets a break in this town. They're closing all the local joints down. There's nothing left for us here now, in fear and loathing. But nothing changes much. The quarterbacks are drunk. The prom queen just gave up in fear and loathing. In fear and loathing. Woman, I can't please you. I will only leave you. Sure as the night follows day. And if you start to wonder if you spell 'em under, well, honey, you should run the other way. Hold on, I'm coming home. You're giving me a bad desire, giving me a burning fire in my bones. And I wanna see you tonight, one last time. Go home and turn off the lights and leave you alone. Leave you alone. ain't got nothing to give you, and something else is always on my mind. Little love drug needle, you always make me feel like for a minute nothing here is wrong. But hold on, I'm coming home. You're giving me a bad desire, you're giving me a burning fire in my bones. And I wanna see you tonight one last time, and go home and turn off the lights and leave you alone. Leave you alone. Go home and turn off the lights and leave you alone. I'll leave you alone. So hold on, I'm coming home. You're giving me a bad desire in my bones. Honey, hold on, I'm coming home. You're giving me a bad desire, giving me a burning fire. You're giving me a bad desire in my bones. And I wanna see you tonight one last time. Death is coming, carried on his crooked wings, and I can't do anything. Death is coming, carried on his crooked wings, and I can't do anything. Hold on to what you've got. Put a lock on the door and double the knot. Love is coming, coming for to carry me. I don't know anything. Love is coming, coming for to carry me. I don't know anything. Send the rain, send my love, send my love to everyone. Send the rain, Send my love, send my love to everyone. To everyone. Sleepless in Seattle, I couldn't find a better name for this. If idle hands make devils work, maybe we should build a church just so we can burn it down. 'Cause every bar in this city reminds me of somebody now. If I get drunk at 12th and Union, whose street will I go wandering down? So I don't wanna go home. I don't wanna go home. Brian's on a bar stool, talking to his talking again. All that acid in the 90s, he said it made a man out of him. All his LA friends got married, a wife, a house, a couple kids. He's just trying to keep the dream alive, and if it dies, then he and I just might die right along with it. So I don't wanna go home. I don't wanna go home. Where it's just half-finished skyscrapers begging the question, does anyone care anymore? And this city was built on the back of a spirit that I can't feel anymore. Maybe there's a new anger or a new seed for some younger farmer to sow. But right now it feels like last call on New Year's Eve, and the bartender's telling me to go, but I don't wanna go home. No, I don't wanna go home. I don't wanna go home.
Is it weird to have conversations with people in real life again?
Yeah, I mean,
do you remember in the beginning of the pandemic when everyone was calling each other like on FaceTime? Like, I feel like I called like 5 people every night.
yeah,
And they all answered.
sure.
Now no one answers.
Sure. Yeah. it's funny, because you're one of the few people I've seen a few times on my porch in the last year.
Yeah.
Like we have a chat, and do a little drink, and like, it's definitely different. Like when I go to the grocery store, I'm like, yeah, how do you talk? I need a broccoli. Like just talking to strangers, which I used to love to do, is like so different now.
It's like the thing of like having like social skills being a part of memory, and like like our memories are bad.
Yeah.
I mean, just ours. Other people's are probably fine. But my memory is really bad.
Yeah.
And like I feel like it, like when I started interacting with people again after like the first few months of COVID, it was like I didn't know what to say to people.
Mm-hmm.
Which makes me think about like, I have two theories about what happens after COVID. Like one, everything's just fine, and then we all go back to normal.
Sure.
Because our memories are so short, and we like forget about having any problem with anything.
Yeah.
Or it like changes us in some intrinsic way in the way we interact with each other.
Yeah.
Which like, that's about the extent of my point.
That's a great point.
But I think it's pretty good.
I always, the question, how's it going, is the question we say to everyone, and that's such a weird one now.
Right.
Like somebody says it to you, or you say it to them, they're like, well, everything sucks, but I'm alive,
Yeah. Well, and also like, especially because everyone's experience of this time has been so drastically different.
Mm-hmm.
And like...
Sure.
I think the thing that I've been thinking about a lot lately is how fragile people are mentally.
Yeah.
And that's a part of this whole COVID thing that I don't think is being addressed as much as COVID itself is. Because like I've known a couple people in the last year who were totally solid and just have like pretty significant mental breakdowns.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I don't know, I guess it's just giving me some perspective on what, like how fragile our mental states are on a daily basis.
Sure.
And like, hopefully that like fosters a sense of empathy for people. But yeah, I mean like isolation. Like you've been in probably more isolation than I have.
Sure. Yeah.
I'm out kissing babies.
Mm-hmm.
I'm out petting dogs.
Yes.
I'm out talking to the elderly wherever I can find them. But you've been at home. Like what's your like? What like is there a marked difference in the way your mental health has been in this year? Like it has to have been.
For sure, yeah. And I mean, I'm at home with my gal and a couple of kids, and it's crazy to see like, we have a 9-year-old that should be in elementary school, and he's doing like Zoom learning and stuff, and kind of going crazy, and a 2.5-year-old that's like a little chimp in a box, like it's like screaming and banging his heads on things, like I wonder sometimes if anyone's like doing any kind of like social study on, especially like little kids, not even like elementary or high school, but like just -5, like what this looks like for people that have been really hemmed up and actually in a bubble or some kind of like, we're just
right.
Like we didn't see my folks for Christmas or Thanksgiving or anything. Like we were like in a bubble, like, I wonder what that's going to look like, and if anyone's like documenting that or whatever. Obviously, we want to not get everyone on the planet sick or whatever, so we do what we can.
I do.
But yeah,
I want everyone to be sick. Yeah. That way I don't have to get a vaccine with, Bill Gates' microchip embedded in my body. He can just track me. Whatever. I actually want Bill Gates to track me.
Wait, is this a podcast?
This is not a podcast.
Okay. Good.
Nope.
Thank you.
This is a Bill Gates podcast.
Oh man.
It's a podcast about Bill Gates.
Yeah.
Were you when you were a child?
Yeah.
Were you a child?
I was a child.
When you were a child,
child.
what are some of the things, like, when you think about your kids being cooped up for COVID, like, are there things that you think about in your childhood that they're missing out on right now? Like, is that a part of, I don't have any children.
Sure.
I hope to never have any children. But you have enough for both of us.
That's true, yeah. I mean, for me, for pre-COVID, it was even different because, like, you know, I'm a bit older these days than I was before.
You're my oldest friend.
Ever, yeah. So, like, you know, just go out into the woods for 6 hours and be home when the street lights come on. And, like, we live in, like, a town home in Olympia, and, like, the kids don't really get a lot of go out and play anyways.
Yeah.
But the kids...
Yeah, does that happen... Sorry to cut you off, but, like, the getting out and hanging out when even when we were kids, like, did that happen in the same way for your kids even before COVID that it did for you when you were a kid?
Like, did they play outside like I did?
Yeah.
No, and that's what I'm saying. Like, we're in a little town home, so it's like, it's just like there's not a lot of spots to go run in the woods, you know? Like, so that definitely was different. But, like, we would have people over, we'd have friends over, family over, you know, like, whatever, you know. So they'd see cousins or whatever, but that's not even happening now. So, like, all of that's removed. That interaction, I think, with other people is just the most beautiful thing. Like, that's where we grow and learn, and, like,
sure.
Even here, I think we're growing and learning, but, like, just little kids have to, like, smack each other around and figure it out, you know, totally. Like where the lines are, you know. So, yeah, it's a weird time, but yeah. I think we'll figure it out. You know, I think we always do.
I don't think we will.
Oh my God! Stop.
We're all gonna die. You're my oldest friend.
Yeah.
I've only known you a year or two, but you're my
true.
But you're my oldest friend.
Mm.
No, we've known each other for 15.
I met you when you were 12.
You've known each other for about 5 years.
5 years. You're 17 now, so
it's perfect.
How's
oldest friend?
You can buy cigarettes in like 5 years.
Love that. Can't wait.
21.
Can't wait to start smoking.
Yeah.
That's the thing that's changed.
Mm-hmm.
We met through the church.
Church, yeah.
Through King's Kids.
King's Kids, yeah.
Youth with a Mission. Why?
Why, ma'am? And there's a little master's commission in there too.
Yeah.
A little dabbling, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
Do you feel like you have... Did that give you a sense of meaning? That world?
Of like church?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I think sometimes I get mad about the time I spent in church. I think I spent 25 to 26, like pretty like in church. Did I say 25 to 26? 20 to 26, like a good 5-6 years.
You spent 27 years in the church.
Yeah, I mean, I think I would get mad sometimes, but like I think I learned a lot of stuff, and I'm happy for that. But I don't, miss a lot of it.
Yeah,
for sure.
Sometimes I just wonder about like the meaning that those kind of institutions give our lives, like, and what we replace that with now. Like individually and culturally, like that's a concept that's kind of interesting to me. Actually, really interesting to me. Sure. I got really drunk the other night with my brother, and we talked about this, and my mom said all she heard was me saying the word meaning really loud throughout the night.
What Johnny had to say?
Probably. I don't remember. I was...
yeah.
But like that, I guess for me, like growing up in the church and it defining what truth was, what right and wrong was, what like purpose was, and all these things that like when you leave that kind of institution that defines something so clearly for you, like where do you find meaning after that? And I don't really personally have like a strong answer for it, but like is that something that have you noticed any kind of things post Christianity that give your life meaning? Sure.
I think I ran into like some Eckhart Tolle, Power of Now, all that's happening right now is now, and that's all there is, and I really clung to that early on, and then you know, just kind of just stepped away from looking for things. You know, I had to like.
Well, you were off Instagram for like a year,
2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
I think I just jumped back on a couple of months ago.
Because you're a quitter.
I'm no quitter. I'm back.
He's back. Oh, that's right.
I
You quit before. Definitely not.
Yeah. No, I just posted a couple photos. I don't know what that question was about, though. What we're talking
No,
about?
we're talking about meaning. And then you're talking about stepping away to look at things.
Yeah.
And now you're stepping back to look at things on Instagram.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I jumped off all social media. I think it was like rough, you know, Facebook and Instagram, Twitter. I kind of jumped off all that. And then I was back on Twitter, I think, with Portland, all the...
The BLM stuff.
Yeah, all the movement that was happening in Portland, I was very interested in, and there was friends down there, so like I was like, let me get a first-hand look. So I got Twitter on, and then I kind of stayed there, dabbled back in Instagram, but like trying to stay away from Facebook. I think my profile's still up, but
yeah, it's a fucking weird landscape.
Yeah,
and I like I definitely have an addictive personality.
Mm-hmm.
I'm happy to say that. Finally quit smoking.
Yeah, you did. That's good.
But like, there's plenty of other stuff I'm addicted to.
Oh, okay.
So it's
the cigarettes was big. I was like, you stopped what, 5 months ago now? 3 months ago?
3 or 4 months ago, yeah.
I did not think that was gonna stick. You know.
I mean, I've quit before.
So have I.
but like with cigarettes, the reason I quit was I got to a point where there was a physical gauge that was telling me this is not worth it for me anymore. Mm-hmm. And I wonder where that mental gauge is for something like social media. Like, where do we, like, when is it too much? Like, when do we get to that point where we're like, this is a thing that is the costs outweigh the benefits?
Sure.
And it's hard to tell with something like social media because it's so intangible. It's not, you don't wake up the next morning and feel sick in your chest because you looked at Instagram too much.
Right, you're just nervous because you're wondering how many other girls or boys are prettier than you or cooler than you. That's the hangover you
very
feel.
Small. I don't
through.
worry about that.
Well, of course, but most humans would just scroll through and be like, oh, they're pretty, they're happy, they're fun, I'm not.
Right.
And so I think that's the kind of the hangover you would feel maybe, but we don't know. There's no way to put a feeling on that.
Right.
So you don't feel like, oh, I'm hungover, but you're like, oh my God, like, I feel less than, and that's always kind of pumping in the background, you know? Like,
and the kind of information fatigue you have.
So much coming in at once.
And also how that shapes our idea of other people. That to me is like maybe the most subtle yet the most toxic thing about social media. And maybe it's not even that subtle, but just that like whoever you see the most of, that defines your worldview. Mm-hmm. So like whatever your like intentionally or unintentionally curated circle is online, that's who defines how you think the world is. So if you have like a really liberal group of friends who are posting all this liberal stuff, you just kind of start to assume that's how.
Right.
That's what normal is.
Sure.
And if you have a very conservative circle, then you assume that is the norm. And then when those things like butt up against each other, there's this like real existential problem of like, well, I thought reality was this. Other person says, I thought reality was this. And then those things come together and they don't match up.
Right.
So what is reality, bro?
Hold on, I got a cough for a minute. That's reality.
Okay, I understand.
Sorry, guys. I'm back with you. I'm here.
Thanks.
Yeah, what is reality? What do you think it is?
You
were just saying that. Like,
I do think reality is perception. Like,
sure, that's it. Yeah.
I didn't plan on going to this level.
Okay, that's fine. We can come back
Duncan Trussell over here.
No, I didn't mean to. We could just like talk about.
No. like, what do you think reality is?
Man, come on. We talked about this. I mean, I don't know, man. Like, it's funny because, like, I think I told you on the phone the other day, like, it's all dream. We're all dream. So there's
you
no...
were quoting that
there's,
Me Without You song.
yeah. There's no Noah, there's no red, there's no nothing, you know. Yeah. I was thinking about this talk when I came up here to Seattle, and like, I gag and puke a lot in real life. You know, that's why I was just coughing.
It's my favorite thing about it.
I get nervous and I'll cough and gag, so I might run out and get. But I was thinking about this in my dreams. I don't puke. I don't get nervous in my dreams. I get nervous watching the dream, so I know in my sleep I'm like sweating and like tossing about, but like it's all kind of, I'm just watching it, you know?
Yeah.
And I wish I could get more to that place here in life where it's just like you're just watching this dream unfold and like, okay, you're doing this chat with Noah, or you have this big interview, or you're gonna go meet your girlfriend or like propose to your girlfriend or whatever. Like there's these weird feelings. I don't know, maybe do you have those in your dream? Have you had like...
No, but I think the thing that you're talking about, it like ties into meditation, which is a thing that we both have been doing for a couple years now.
Sure.
And also circling back to Eckhart Tolle and the like power of now and you are not your feelings and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, the watching yourself live your experience is like a really powerful practice, but also like a weird, it's like, it's as weird and subtle as the question of what is reality, because it doesn't really make sense without, you know, doing the practice and unpacking all of the different elements of it.
Yeah.
But, you know, what is reality? Don't even know.
Yeah,
fear. Let's talk about fear.
Okay, that's great. I like it.
What is the purpose of fear?
I mean, I guess all I can imagine is like long time ago, loud noise coming, growl. Okay, you might die. Let's stay alive, protect, keep yourself going. You know.
But the weird thing about fear now is that for certain things, fear actually keeps you. I'm gonna use like a snowboarding analogy. Like, if you're afraid of committing to a turn or a switch or whatever, like, that's when you hurt yourself.
Yeah.
So there's this point in our evolution that we've reached where fear doesn't serve the same purpose it used to serve. That's a thing I think about a lot, where I'm like, there's not much I really have to be. I mean, there's plenty to be afraid of. I don't mean to say there isn't, but like, for the most part, like, our lives are pretty safe.
You and I, you know, what we're experiencing.
Yeah,
sure,
right.
Yeah.
And it's a spectrum, but like,
you talk about like just walking down a dark alley, right? You and your gal or whatever,
and
like,
that might be different too for somebody else. But I guess like I guess when I think about fear in terms of relationships, honesty, certain athletic things, certain like the way we ride a motorcycle, the way we ride a snowboard, whatever. Like and all those things might seem like separate from each other, but like in all of those circumstances, fear is a natural instinct, but actually gets in the way of the thing that we're trying to do.
Yeah, I think it's just the wired in, keep you alive function, you know? And it's just running in the background all the time, you know? We're riding on the freeway, and the person driving the car is texting.
Yeah.
And then you have fear. Because, or maybe you don't, but I do. Or, you know, it's raining, and they're texting, and they're not looking at the road, and I'm like, oh, this does not go well for me, and now I have fear, and I want to correct this situation. That's a simple example of like, you know what I mean? Like,
and I guess there's different kinds of fear.
Sure.
I guess the fear that I'm trying to that I want to be able to like look at honestly is the kind of fear that is a biological instinct, and yet actually gets in the way of like real intimacy between people, or
Oh, right. Like, will they think I'm dumb? Kind of. Yeah. Sure.
Or like taking the next step in a relationship with somebody, or whatever.
Oh.
Whatever.
Wow.
You know.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Sure.
Whatever it could be.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I'm thinking about this analogy of the diving board, and we're running out of time here.
Oh, geez, we've done the whole thing already.
We've done the whole podcast.
I didn't even get an introduction. Who am I? Is this a podcast?
This is not a
I need an
podcast.
I need makeup. Makeup.
You're doing great.
Where's my makeup? There's fear. I'm afraid. I'm feeling some fear right now. That people aren't going to know who I am. Are they going to wonder if this is a podcast? Maybe they're afraid.
Well, let me wrap it up for the folks, and just explain to you who you are. Let me explain to you who you are.
Okay.
You are my friend Red.
Oh.
I've known you since I was 12 years old.
Oh, yeah.
Now you are much older than that, and I'm much older than that. And we are older together.
Yeah.
And we like to talk about things on FaceTime and in real life.
Yeah.
We're not afraid to talk about things.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love you very much.
I love you.
Thanks for being my friend.
Thank you, man. Are we done? I just feel like I got some more juice for you. Let me get some juice. I could like take my clothes off or something, you know?
I got a lot of loose ends. I've done some damage. I've cut the rope so it frayed. And I've got a lot of good friends keeping me distracted, keeping my sanity safe. Here I stand on the edge of the ledges I've made. I'm looking for a steady hand. Here I stand in the land for the rocks and valleys. I'm trying to be a better man for you. But I drink a little too much. It makes me nervous. I've got my grandfather's blood. I take a little too much without giving back. If blessed are the meek, then I'm cursed. Here I stand on the edge of the ledges I've made. I'm looking for a steady hand. Stand in the land for the rocks and the valleys. I'm trying to be a better man for you. Well, I wanna learn how to love, not just the feeling, and bear all the consequences. I wanna learn how to love and give it all back. steady hand. Here I stand in a land full of rocks and the valleys. I'm trying to be a better man. Oh, here I stand on the edge of the ledges I've made. I'm looking for a steady hand. Here I stand in the land full of rocks and valleys. I'm trying. She watched the valley burn, a slow dancer doing turns. My name was on every tongue. And all of the smoke and ash, a memory of the time gone bad, hanging like a shadow. So light me up again, burn like a holy fire. Light me up again if it makes you feel free. Light me up again, call me a snake and a liar, and I will be the fire that keeps you warm. Matches to gasoline, I could not keep my fingers clean. Enough for your gunpowder heart. But as I lit the fuse and ran for cover, where were you? Standing with your hands on the flame. So light me up again, burn like a holy fire. Light me up again if it makes you feel free. Light me up again, call me a snake and a liar, and I will be the fire that keeps you warm. Light me up again, burn like a holy fire. Light me up again if it makes you feel free. Light me up again, call me a snake and a liar, and I will be the fire that keeps you warm. I will be the fire. It's gonna make its presence known from one monkey to another. You can't lose what you don't know. It's okay if you get anxious, just please don't call the cops. There's a couple things I'm sure of, and a whole lot more I'm not. There's a sentimental value to the memory of love. It's a pretty looking rainbow. What does it remind you of? Is it somewhere there's a heart of gold? It's never gonna rust. Or it's a hard rain, honey, but it's never gonna flood. Despite all my reservations, I've been doing this for years, hoping that some magic touch would finally make it clear. But when it all comes crashing down, I'm still standing here, looking at the same face in the same place, just a different kind of mirror. Well, nothing lasts forever, and every other trope, I guess it just depends on how much DMT you smoked. But when I think of Robin Williams at the end of his rope, it makes no difference what you're making. The Reaper makes the final joke. So I gather my impressions of the universal sigh, and hope that someone's listening to their radio tonight. Though it doesn't really matter, with so many come before. And who the hell are we fooling? No one buys records anymore.